Old maps have a wealth of information on them for historical research and for the study of old roads and genealogy. But maps tend not to be used as widely as they should be. They come in different shapes and sizes, and unlike books, they're hard to catalog and store, especially large folding maps or wall maps. And many old Vermont maps are not even located in Vermont, or at least are not readily available. Here I will talk about several types of historical maps and their uses for research. In the beginning, there was no Vermont. When the oldest maps of this region were made, Vermont was part of the state of New Hampshire, as shown on this 1761 map. The area in red was New Hampshire at the time the Blanchard and Langdon map was made, and the dark outlined area, which is largely empty, will become Vermont in a few more decades. There were a few settlers in southern Vermont at this early time, and on the right side of this image is a detail showing the oldest road in Vermont, the Crown Point Military Road, which was made just before this map was published. Vermont was a dangerous place in 1760. The British and French were fighting for control of North America, and this piece of wild land stayed largely vacant until the end of the French and Indian War, 1763. This next map, made from the same plate as the Blanchard and Langdon map, shows a rapidly developing territory, now commonly known as Vermont. By 1784, these lands were part of New York, although in a few more years the state of Vermont would be established. We find old town names on maps, such as Fulham and Tomlinson, now the towns of Dummerston and Grafton. And we find unusual bits of geography, like the name Camel's Rump on Vermont's most notable mountain. This is a 1796 map. That name appears on Vermont maps for almost 50 years. Other kinds of useful maps include lotting plans, which show the original land grants, and the detailed road maps of the mid-19th century, such as the Walling and Beers maps. Commercial map makers from New York, Philadelphia, and Boston sent surveyors up into Vermont to map all the roads, and, most importantly, to get the names of the homeowners. 11 large county wall maps were made between 1854 and 1859. They showed every road and every home in Vermont for the first time. And here are some other useful maps. Fold-out maps, found in the back of the county gazetteers from the 1880s. Bird's-eye views of the larger Vermont villages. Old topographic maps. And fire insurance maps, also made of larger villages. And that's our brief overview of Vermont historical maps. We encourage you to learn more about them and to enjoy using these delightful old maps.